Welcome back to Artmadillo. Today we are going to draw Master Chief from Halo, and just letting you know, I have not drawn any sort of this kind of thing or in this style before. So if it turns out to be a little wacky, that's why. Hopefully you'll like it and it'll be awesome. And yeah, the materials that I used in this drawing are my big eraser, mechanical pencil, Sharpie, and my black pencil.
So to start off, I'm going to just get where his pose is going to be with all these different circles. The top one represents his head. And I'm just going to start with a super basic outline of where everything is going. Nothing is very straight or very detailed because I'm not going to have to deal with that until later when I go back over it with my pencil and my Sharpie. This drawing is going to be black and white since I decided that I needed a little bit of a change and everything else was really colorful, so I just decided to do this one black and white. Right now I'm just putting in the basics of where his armor is, and I do have a guideline sheet that was kind of a simpler version of Master Chief, and I was kind of basing my pose off of that. I looked it up, and there were several different guns that he uses over the different Halo games. Halo 4 is a little bit different, but I like this gun. It was kind of cool and a little bit more simple than the other one, so I decided to do that one. And now I'm just doing the hands, and he's got these gloves on that have pads around the fingers, and so that's kind of what I was doing there. And here I've zoomed in so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Now that I have the basics of where he's going to be, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And so here I'm just adding in the lines on where the gun is, and just different lines and buttons and different things that are on the gun. Just super basic. It's a lot of just messy pencil lines that I will go back over with my Sharpie and make them a little bit more clear later on. And so here you can see just the rest of those lines that I'm making for his armor. And then I'm going to use my Sharpie and just start outlining his entire body. And this will take a long time because there's a lot of lines. And actually the shading will go faster than all the line drawing, even though the shading is going to be pretty difficult. So that's definitely the hardest part, is the lines currently, because there are just so many of them. And if these lines are correct, blame the reference sheet that I had. It wasn't me. I don't know exactly how to draw him, so I'm just figuring out where to put all the armor, adding in different lines to show depth, so that when I go back over it with my pencil, my black pencil, I will be able to know where all the shadow is going to be and how to balance the light from the shadows. And so here I'm just finishing with these lines on the top right here, and just making them all as straight as I can. Some of them aren't as straight as I like them to be. If you want some line to be straight, the best way to do it is not to do it super slowly, because that makes your hand shake a little bit more than if you make the lines if you just whip them out. It actually makes the lines a lot straighter. And that is my little tip for you guys. When you're doing a Sharpie, if you press harder, it makes darker lines, which seems kind of obvious, but and then it goes lighter. So I like to do some of my lines where it's like darker on the top and then lighter on the bottom, so that they're thinner lines, and then move to black. And then here I'm doing the gun, and it's more of solid lines because it's made out of metal, or that kind of thing. And I'm just adding in different little details to this. And it's not going to be super detailed. I've seen other drawings of Master Chief that are just amazing and way better than this is going to be. But if you wanted to draw a simpler version of Master Chief, then this one should be pretty cool. And here I'm just figuring out the rest of the lines that go on the gun, and the buttons, and just different lines and stuff that make the gun look really cool. And I'm sure they have some purpose that I do not know. So you guys are gonna have to explain that to me if you would like. And then here I'm just adding in the rest of these lines. I think these are the last bit of lines that I'm gonna have to deal with before I start shading. So then we'll get to the more exciting part than just all these lines in there. And then I added that little line on his visor there, so you can see that. And so here I erased all the messy lines I no longer need. I forgot a couple of these lines, so I'm just adding a few more that I missed because I couldn't see them as well with all the messy stuff that was going around. And so I'm just going to use my black, and I'm going to go on his visor and make it dark on the sides and then light in the middle, kind of giving it a cool reflective feel. And then I'm going to just color in more like I'm having the light kind of come from the top, so that the lines like underneath where like the jawline of the helmet is, kind of making that darker underneath his head where his neck is. I made that a little bit darker just so that we have some depth and it's not just all just a gray blob. So I fixed that, and then I just kind of figured out what all the shadows were going to be, and this is actually, it is so much faster than the lining and all that. And so now I'm just kind of speedily just coloring in that part I made darker because it seemed like that was what the suit was like. And then I added in some more darkness on that arm and that elbow, so that it kind of like made a cool shadow back there. And I'm kind of avoiding the gun because I want it to kind of stick out from him. So be careful not to like make a dark streak across the gun. And right here I'm kind of running out of lead, so that's why I'm really close to the pencil. In a second here I'll sharpen my pencil so I won't have to deal with that anymore. But where the gun is on his, like where the shadow is behind the gun, I kind of made that darker so the gun did pop out a little bit. And I just made these shadows anywhere underneath something is going to be really dark. And it's good to have a good contrast of where the dark and the light is, especially when you're just working in black and white, then it's good to have that. And so I sharpened my pencil, so it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to see here. And inside the barrel of that, I made that it's a lot darker than everything else. And then here, you can kind of see like the gun kind of sticks out from him, as it should. It's not really attached to him. And then I just put in some more shadows and such for the gun right there. And then darkness under there, and just make sure that you have the light on the top and the dark on the bottom.
Please like and subscribe, and if you want me to draw anything for you, please leave it in the comment section down below, and I will get to it as soon as I can. See you later, alligator.